The morning sun illuminated the schoolyard as the students dispersed to enjoy the long-awaited recess. Carlos, with his backpack clutched to his back, was looking for a quiet spot to escape the hustle and bustle of the place. His eyes behind the black-rimmed glasses settled on a secluded corner, and he decided that there he would find the peace he longed for. He sat down on the wooden bench, secluded from the rest of the students. He took a book out of his backpack and immersed himself in his reading, as he always did to evade the world around him. But that morning, his tranquility was interrupted by the presence of Laura, the girl who made his life impossible. Laura approached with a mischievous smile on her lips and the gleam of superiority in her eyes. Carlos clenched his fists, bracing himself for the torrent of insults he used to receive from her. But, to his surprise, Laura seemed to flinch for an instant. Laura's eyes met Carlos, and for a fleeting moment, there seemed to be a glint of recognition in her gaze. Carlos remained calm, not knowing what to expect. Then, to his astonishment, Laura broke the silence with a sincere apology. "Carlos, I want to apologize," Laura said, her tone of voice different, softer than usual. "I've been horrible to you and to many other people. I've realized that my actions reflect my own insecurities and fears. I'm not proud of what I've done." Carlos looked at her warily, trying to decipher if there was sincerity in her words. For the first time, he saw a crack in Laura's arrogant facade, and he decided to take the opportunity presented to him. "I don't want to live with hate or resentment, Laura," Carlos replied calmly. "If you're willing to change and apologize, then I'm willing to forgive you." Laura seemed surprised by Carlos' response. She hadn't expected someone like him to offer her a chance at redemption. She sat down on the bench next to him, not looking away from his eyes. "Why are you giving me a chance, Carlos?" asked Laura, her voice filled with genuine curiosity. "Because I believe in people's ability to change," Carlos replied, without hesitation. "We all make mistakes, but that doesn't mean we should be judged forever. I want to believe that there is goodness in you, even if sometimes it's hard for you to show it." Laura was silent, reflecting on Carlos' words. She had never been confronted in this way before, and the idea that someone could see something else in her puzzled her. Suddenly, she felt a strong desire to prove to Carlos that she could change. As the days passed, Laura and Carlos began to spend more time together. They really got to know each other, sharing their hopes, fears, and deepest dreams. Laura revealed how her own insecurity had led her to seek power and control over others, and how she had felt trapped in a destructive cycle. Carlos, for his part, shared his experience of being the constant target of Laura's teasing and how he had found in books and in his own determination the strength to not let himself be defeated by bullying. As they got to know each other better, Laura moved further and further away from her group of toxic friends. She discovered that she didn't need to humiliate others to feel valuable and powerful. Carlos became her anchor, her guide to a more authentic and fulfilling life. Over time, love began to blossom between them. It was not a traditional love, but one filled with ups and downs and challenges. At times, Laura's old habits would resurface and she would fall back into her harmful behavior. But Carlos was always there to remind her of her potential and encourage her to move forward. Together, Laura and Carlos proved that love can emerge even in the darkest and most difficult places. Their passionate love story was proof that people can change and grow, and that true love can overcome any obstacle. Although no one would have imagined that unexpected encounter in the schoolyard would lead to such a powerful love story, fate had its own plans for them. After that meeting in the schoolyard, the relationship between Laura and Carlos began to blossom. They became inseparable, sharing laughter, secrets, and dreams. Every day they discovered new facets of each other, and together they explored a love that was as passionate as it was complicated. As Laura left her old behavior behind, they encountered internal problems. At times, her insecurities rose up again and she struggled to control her temper. But Carlos remained by her side, patient and understanding. He always reminded her of how much she had progressed and how much she had changed since their first meeting. However, their relationship did not go unnoticed. The rest of the students could not understand how Carlos could be together with her former tormentor. Rumors and gossip arose, and Laura and Carlos were subjected to criticism and prejudice. The outside world tried to separate them, but their love grew stronger in the midst of adversity. Carlos found in Laura an ally, someone who defended and supported him in difficult moments. Laura, for her part, discovered in Carlos a reassuring force, someone who believed in her even when she herself doubted. One afternoon, while walking together in the park, they met David, one of Laura's old friends. David could not accept the change he saw in Laura and mocked her in front of Carlos. "So you're befriending losers now, Laura?" sneered David. "I can't believe you've changed so much because of this weak kid." Carlos felt a shiver run down his spine, but he stood his ground despite David's hurtful words. He looked at Laura, seeking her reaction. Laura, instead of letting David's attack get the better of her, flashed a serene smile. She took a deep breath before responding calmly and confidently. "David, I'm disappointed in you," Laura said in a firm but calm voice. "If you can't accept that people change and that they deserve a second chance, that's your problem. I have learned that respect and love can overcome any superficial labels." David, puzzled by Laura's response, trailed off with a gesture of disgust. Laura and Carlos continued their walk, holding hands, closer than ever. Although challenges continued to arise, Laura and Carlos supported each other's modifications. Together, they found the courage to face the prejudices and obstacles that stood in their way. As time went on, Laura became a fierce advocate against bullying, using her own experience to help others who had also suffered. The love between Laura and Carlos became an inspiration to many. Their story showed that, even in the midst of darkness, it was possible to find redemption and build relationships based on respect, trust, and self-improvement. And so, together, Laura and Carlos continued on their journey of passionate love, facing life's challenges with courage and perseverance. Their love was living proof that people can change and find happiness, even when the world seemed to be against them. The love between Laura and Carlos grew stronger every day, overcoming obstacles and defying the expectations of those who did not believe in their relationship. Together, enjoy the power of personal transformation and how love can be a redemptive force. As Laura moved away from her former group of friends and focused on building a more positive life, she found new purpose in the fight against bullying. Inspired by her own experience, she barely raised her voice and became an advocate for those who were victims of bullying. With Carlos' unwavering support, Laura began organizing workshops and talks in her school and community. She shared her story and encouraged others to join the fight against bullying. Her courage and determination not only helped raise awareness, but also provided a ray of hope to those who felt alone and helpless. Laura's impact took hold beyond her school environment. Her inspirational story reached the ears of local and national organizations fighting bullying. She was invited to speak at conferences and participate in campaigns to promote tolerance and respect in schools. Laura became a symbol of change and self-improvement, and her influence permeated regionally. As her platform grew, she increasingly strived to make a significant difference in the lives of other young people. Despite her accomplishments, Laura did not forget Carlos' constant support. He was always by her side, cheering her on and recording how far they had come together. As Laura grew as an advocate, Carlos also found his own path. Through his experience with bullying, Carlos discovered a passion for psychology and counseling. Inspired by his relationship with Laura, he studied to become a psychologist specializing in supporting victims of bullying. While Laura traveled and shared her story, Carlos dedicated himself to helping other young people in his own community. He provided emotional counseling, support, and strategies for coping with bullying. His empathy and understanding showed from his own experience, making him a highly effective counselor. Laura and Carlos' love transcended their personal relationship. Together, they used their experience to make a real difference in the lives of other young people facing similar situations. They became a powerful team and an example of how love can transform lives and bring about meaningful change. As the years passed, Laura and Carlos embarked on new challenges and adventures. Together, they continued to fight bullying and provide support to those in need. Their passionate love became a beacon of hope and strength for many, proving that love can overcome any adversity and that personal transformation is possible for everyone. Laura and Carlos developed into an inspiration for those who had lost faith in themselves, reminding them that there is always light at the end of the tunnel and that love, when true and courageous, has the power to heal and transform lives. The passionate love between Laura and Carlos continued to grow over the years, leaving a lasting legacy in their path. Together, they faced new challenges and encountered intense emotions as they forged a future together. After graduating from high school, Laura and Carlos went their separate ways to pursue their individual dreams in college. Despite the distance, their love remained strong and supported each other every step of the way. Laura excelled as a bullying advocate, participating in international conferences and collaborating with renowned organizations. Her voice resonated around the world, inspiring youth and adults alike to take action against bullying and foster a safer, more compassionate school environment. Carlos, in turn, became a renowned lawyer, specializing in the treatment of bullying-related trauma and anxiety. Through his work, he transformed the lives of countless victims of bullying, giving them the support they needed to recover and rebuild their confidence. As time went on, Laura and Carlos always found ways to maintain their connection and collaborate on joint projects. Together, they organized workshops and bullying prevention programs in schools across the country, addressing not only the victims, but also the bullies and the community at large. Their love and dedication became so prominent that they were invited to participate in a major global bullying event. There, they shared their story of love and overcoming, demonstrating that real change is possible when love and respect are at the center of the fight against bullying. Laura and Carlos' impact was felt beyond their work in bullying prevention. They also became involved in broader social initiatives, advocating for inclusion, diversity, and acceptance in all areas of society. Their love and commitment was moved into a driving force for bringing about significant changes in the way people treated each other. As they grew older together, Laura and Carlos continued to inspire each other to reach new goals. They married and started a family, passing on to their children the values of love, compassion, and respect. Their home became a haven of love and support, where differences were celebrated and personal growth was encouraged. Over the years, Laura and Carlos' legacy lived on. Their story was told again and again, serving as an inspiration for future generations. The impact of their love and dedication left a lasting mark in the fight against bullying and the promotion of a more compassionate and respectful world. Laura and Carlos proved that passionate and authentic love can transform lives and make a difference in the world. Their legacy lived on in every person who found hope and courage through their story, and their love became a guiding light to a fuller and more meaningful life. And so, Laura and Carlos' love transcended time, inspiring future generations to embrace the power of love and personal transformation. Their story became a lasting testament to the incredible potential that can be found in the human heart when love is chosen above all else. Many years have passed since Laura and Carlos began their journey of love and transformation. Both have continued to grow and expand their impact in the fight against bullying. But fate still had one last twist in store for their story. One day, while Laura was giving a lecture in a distant city, she ran into someone she didn't expect to see, David, her old friend from the past. Surprised by his presence, Laura felt a mixture of emotions. She wondered if David had changed or if the shadows of his old behavior still lingered. After his lecture, David approached Laura with a look of regret in his eyes. "Laura, I've followed your trajectory all these years," David said in a trembling voice. "I have realized how wrong I was and how much you have accomplished. I would like to apologize to you for my behavior in the past. Laura, her heart full of compassion, asked for David's apology. She recognized the courage he had had in facing his own past and seeking redemption. As they talked, Laura realized that, like her too, David had undergone a process of transformation. Upon learning that David had been working on bullying prevention programs in her community, Laura was impressed. Both had found a similar path in the fight against bullying, albeit from different perspectives. They decided to join forces and collaborate on a joint project that would combine their experiences and expertise. Together, they organized a series of workshops in schools across the country, sharing their personal stories and providing tools to prevent bullying and foster empathy and respect among students. The collaboration between Laura, Carlos, and David went beyond what any of them could have imagined. Together, they strengthened into a powerful trio that inspired youth and adults alike to embrace change and strive for a more compassionate world. As time went on, Laura, Carlos, and David rose to become influential figures in the fight against bullying globally. Their names resonated at international conferences, and their work spread through television programs and social media. But despite their success and recognition, Laura, Carlos, and David never forgot the value of love in their story. They recalled how love had been the catalyst for their personal transformation and how they had found strength and redemption through it. In each of their speeches and interviews, they shared the importance of choosing love over hate and compassion over cruelty. They inspired thousands of people to change their attitudes and behaviors, demonstrating that everyone has the capacity to grow and evolve. And so, Laura, Carlos, and David left a lasting legacy in the fight against bullying and the promotion of a kinder, more tolerant world. Their story of love, overcoming, and redemption became a beacon of hope for those facing the darkness of bullying. Laura and Carlos' journey from passionate love between the girl who bullied and the boy who was bullied to becoming advocates for equality and empathy had left an indelible mark on the world. And their story will continue to inspire others to embrace the power of love and personal transformation in the fight for a bullying-free world. Laura, Carlos, and David's legacy in the fight against bullying and the promotion of empathy and respect endured throughout the years. Their efforts and commitment will continue to have a significant impact on the lives of many people, leaving an indelible mark on society. Over time, Laura, Carlos, and David became international references in the field of bullying prevention. Their projects expanded and were implemented in different countries, reaching communities that urgently needed a change in the way young people were transported in schools. In addition to their work globally, Laura, Carlos, and David dedicated themselves to training other leaders and advocates for change. They organized workshops and conferences where they shared their experience, provided practical tools, and motivated others to join the fight against bullying. Meanwhile, in their personal lives, Laura and Carlos continued to nurture their love and strengthen their relationship. Together, they raised a family and passed on the values of respect, inclusion, and compassion to their children. Each of them found their own passion in defending the rights of others, following their parents' example. In an emotional recognition event, Laura, Carlos, and David received the International Award for their outstanding work in bullying prevention. It was a moment of gratitude and pride, but also of reflection. Looking back, they recalled every obstacle they had faced, every challenge overcome, and every life they had touched. The event marked the end of a stage in Laura, Carlos, and David's lives. Although they continued to work tirelessly for the cause they were passionate about, they decided to take a well-deserved break and focus on family life. They knew that their legacy was secure and that other leaders and advocates would emerge to continue the fight. Years passed and the name Laura, Carlos, and David became synonymous with hope and change. Although they were no longer on the front lines, their influence spread through their works and the impact they had left on those they had inspired. In the twilight of their lives, Laura, Carlos, and David improved themselves once again to remember their trajectory. Surrounded by their loved ones and with hearts full of satisfaction, they shared laughter and tears as they recalled each moment they had lived. They knew they had made a difference in the world and that their love and perseverance had left an indelible mark. The last chapter of their story concluded with a message of gratitude and hope. Laura, Carlos, and David left behind a legacy of love, self-improvement, and struggle for a better world. Their story became a beacon of inspiration for generations to come, reminding them that love has the power to transform lives and that every individual has the ability to create positive change. And so, the story of Laura, Carlos, and David became an enduring testament to unwavering love and human determination. Their legacy endured in the hearts of those they had touched and in the actions of those who continued their struggle. Their story would always be remembered as an example of how love and courage can transform the world into a more compassionate and just place for all.